Hey, it's Daniel G. Bennis of Daniel G. Bennis Science Shows here. And tomorrow is a very special and important date for the scientific community, for humanity as a whole, and for me. So what is tomorrow? Well, tomorrow, July 20th, 2019, represents the 50th anniversary of the very first time that mankind touched foot on our moon. So back on July 20th, 1969, the Apollo missions were well underway. There were several that had done terrestrial testing. Some had gone up near the edge of our atmosphere to test weightlessness and propulsion to see what we have to do next. And then on the 20th of July 1969, the Apollo 11 lunar module lowered itself down onto the moon, a hatch opened, and human beings, much like myself, same species basically, stepped out and touched our moon. And it is such an amazing thing to think about that it's already been 50 years, but it's only been 50 years at the same time, because not too long before that, we barely had Kitty Hawk up in the air, just kind of hovering a few feet off the air made from wood and fabric. So it's astonishing. I don't ever want that astonishment and amazement to leave us. We always need to feel like that's amazing so that we know how far we've come. Well, the world is celebrating this event, and so it was brought to my attention that for my science shows, Deanna Whaley told me, look, this is the 50th anniversary. You need to do something in your science shows. And it just so happens that I have one science show left in my summer tour for the library system of Texas, and that is tomorrow on the 20th. So I am performing a science show on the 50th anniversary of the lunar landing. And it is quite an honor, but it's also, I feel like, a responsibility to do an homage, a tribute to the moon, and you don't have to twist my arm for that. So I want you to think about something. For all of humanity, for the millennia of all the time on planet Earth that humans have been alive, that moon up there has taunted the crap out of us. It has looked down and basically said, nah, 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 you can't touch me. And in 1969, NASA said, hold my beer. And we got minerals from the ground and hammered them into little gizmos and gadgets that are capable of directing electricity in different directions. And we turned them into some kind of a computer, and we built this fairly rickety, fragile contraption, in all honesty, out of basically glorified sticks and stones. And we looked up at the moon, and we pulled the trigger, and we launched it straight towards that object. And 238,900 miles later, it touched down like a feather-ish by the skin of our teeth. And the hatch opened, and humans came out, again, very similar to myself, same species, basically. And they stepped out, and they said, here we are. Here we are. And they looked back at our planet. And all along the way, everything was a 50-50 shot. It was a flip of a coin whether it would work or not. And a million systems and a million components and a million things had to happen to make that happen. And they did it. And not only that, they turned around and whatever odds were left, they came back home with some rocks and materials from that tethered orb that has been the Earth's ever faithful life partner all these years. And no longer could it taunt us. And we felt like we made it welcome. It's now part of our history. And it's amazing to me. And I never want that to get old. And so I thought, like, how can I do an homage to the moon in a science show that lasts 1 hour on a stage and have it be kid-friendly, that doesn't blow the place up with, projectiles and fiery gases shooting out at Mach 1 speeds, Mach 20 speeds? Whatever, the thing travels at like 300 million miles an hour. But I thought of some cool ways, and so I'm gonna show you those now. And by the way, this right here is my NASA issued flight jacket. Is that amazing or what? It's so super cool. It's a government issued NASA jacket, part of my inspiration. So right over here, we have some cool stickers, decals that I'll be putting on my science shows tablecloths. And so that's one thing. And then for those of you who have seen my shows, you'll know that one of the things I do is I will levitate a ball in the air using the high velocity, low pressure air from a leaf blower. And these are some of the balls that I use right here. And I can direct the balls around and have them do pretty cool things. And there's one that lights up. That's the one I started with, and I've moved on to some of these now because they're lighter and they go higher. So I wanted to take that to the next level. Not only am I a NASA fan, but I'm also a Disney fan. And so here is what I came up with. This is a Disney princess ball. I think I paid $2.50 at Walgreens, and it bounces a little bit. And so I took and I painted this with truck bed liner, heavy duty truck bed liner, and this thing was like deep space black, but it gave me a textured surface to paint on. I had 2 of these, by the way. And so then I gathered up some paints and I gathered up some brushes, and I hand painted the moon on a rubber Disney ball. Now, I'm no artist, but I'm not disappointed with this. And there's the air fill hole, by the way. And I've got just a little bit more touch up to do on it. The Sea of Tranquility is not fully as tranquil as I'd like it to be, but there it is. And so now let me show you exactly how this works. I'm going to demo this. So let me come over here, and I'm going to set my phone right there. And this may be a little bit ugly. Now, this is going to be really, really loud, so I apologize now. So warning, if you're wearing headphones, you've been warned. It's going to be loud. I'm going to balance this on here, and I'm going to turn this guy on, and on 150 mile an hour wind, I'm going to levitate this ball and direct it around. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. So that's one of the things that I'm going to be doing. Oh, by the way, so just a before and after shot, just one more time. Disney princess and the moon. Underneath here are a bunch of Disney princesses that are all like muffled, going like, "Help us!" What are you going to do? All right, something else that I have planned for the show. This is only just a couple little things that I'm going to be demonstrating, but something else that I have is this guy. Now, this is an electric moon. This moon is capable of lighting up and doing the lunar phases. And if you look at it, it just happens to say Happy 50th on it in this light, kind of dusty color here. Now, I made this pole with some set screws, and I will place that on a antique laboratory chemistry lab holder here. And there she is. Now, on the real moon, when we were there, we put a special reflector on it. And so I'm going to put a reflector on this. And there we go. Now, the reason we put a reflector on there is because here back on Earth, with a powerful laser, we're actually able to laser range the moon and tell how far it is. And it just so happens that the moon is drifting away from us very, very slightly, slowly each year, which is really kind of sad because there's no reversing that. It's like putting a parking lot where a forest once stood. You can't go back. But we use lasers to look at it. Now, I was at McDonald Observatory in Texas once when they were actually laser ranging the moon, and they used a gigantic, highly powerful laser. I can't remember if it was green or orange color. I have a feeling it was green. But I happen to have here an astronomical astronomy laser, and it's a very powerful laser as well. And you can see there it is on the moon's surface. Now, if I shine at that reflector, you'll see what happens. Boom. There we go. Right there. And we do the same thing with our moon. And that was very forward thinking, if you think about it, to put a reflector on the moon that mankind from now on could use to laser range and continue to learn about it. Now here's the remote. I can go through, I can turn it on, and I can also go through the various lunar phases. That is very, very cool. I'm going to turn that off for right now, though. You do see that it says Happy 50th on it. Now, I have also something else to say. So, not only is tomorrow the 50th anniversary of the very first walk on the moon from the Apollo 11 missions. But 2019 also represents another 50th anniversary for something that's very near and dear to me. Because you see, in 1969, on July 20th, man touched the moon, and 33 days later, on August 23rd, 1969, I was born. So when I came out and started putting footprints on this planet, people had already put footprints on the one that orbits our planet. And so this is a thought-provoking year for me, and I need to face it with courage just the same way they did when they launched themselves in a contraption towards the moon, knowing that it may be a one-way journey. And so that's the circle of life. And I want to leave you now with that, because that's an important part of my life, but with one last thing. So this little guy up here, this writing up here, this special white writing has a special property, and that is that it fluoresces very brightly when it is activated with ultraviolet light. And there we are. So I just want to say happy 50th anniversary to NASA, happy 50th anniversary to the Moon Walk, happy 50th anniversary to the Apollo missions, and happy 50th anniversary to my existence. I hope you enjoy this. Science all the things, even the moon. And remember, thank you guys for watching me. I love you all to the moon and back.